All right, so we're getting back toward the back part of the cemetery. And this is where I see some fat ass squirrels that'll really taunt the dogs a little bit. You can see there's one way up there. I want him to notice it and I want to release him to it. See if he fixate on it a little bit. Shocked he hasn't noticed it yet. It's by that next to the end tree there. Break! Look at that squirrel. Oh, there's a big old dove down there too. Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. You see that squirrel? Go get him. Go get him, Theo. What's he doing over there? Look at him. So funny. Yeah, buddy. Get out of there. Come on. We'll cut it a little bit to keep from dragging our leash in that mud. All right, this is my favorite spot in all of Spring Hill, Columbia area to train because it's local. We have an audience. It's beautiful, lots of space. And I can stick my phone to this little trailer that they have out here as a little tripod because I have a magnetic phone case. Good job, buddy. You go poo-poos? Yeah? All right, we're gonna do some Ecollar conditioning here. All right, set this up. All right, make sure I have my wide angle on. Really quick about backwards conditioning and forwards conditioning. Backwards conditioning is where I start the stimulation before I actually tell him how to turn it off. I want him to notice it, okay? Forward conditioning is where I go ahead and tell him what to do and then I start stimming, okay? So I'm gonna give him a break. Turn on stem here. Yes, good job. Good boy. Great. Yes, good boy. That's just a quick vibration. Okay? Good job, buddy. Great. Yes, good boy. Because the idea here is I want him to isolate for what he's feeling. Right here, it's on. Theo here. Yes, good boy. Right, now I've added the command into that. That means it's non-negotiable, and if he blew me off, I would actually give him a correction, okay? So this is all vibration, all right? The second thing is I'll switch to electric stem just so that I can be like, hey, dude, you're not paying attention. Free. Yeah, good boy. Okay, so that time I didn't even vibrate. Good job, buddy. Hey. Hey, what you doing? You so happy? You just seem like you took a big old fat Prozac. Yeah. You're a good boy. I love you, buddy. I'm gonna start doing holds like this so that we can work on me picking him up. Good boy. It's like a type of petting. Good boy. Because that's what holding him is. A type of petting. Great. Got a little gravitation going on here. Alright. Good job, buddy. Alright, now I'm going to teach him how to turn off the electric, okay? I'm going to use the same lure that I would for a sit, but I'm going to just tap this at a 3, okay? Nope. Good. Good. Okay. He knows notice how he dipped his head down like that? I'm actually gonna go down to a 2, or to a 1, excuse me. I'm gonna turn on that stem, hold, down, release, good job. Now if he gets up out of that down, I would say no, and I would immediately start holding that stem, okay? So you notice that I'm using the electric to put him into a sit down or a lay down. I'm using the vibration for a get up, pep up, speed up, okay? So I'm gonna say, good job. I'm gonna say, break, good job. And I gave a little vibration there, okay? So I vibrated and I moved. I gave him the command. He goes, okay, got it. You're moving, I should move, okay? So I'm gonna do the same exact thing again. Feel here, no stem. Good, can you sit? I'm gonna tap that vibrate to get him up into a sit. Come on. Good boy, very nice. Yes, you're so handsome. Good. There you go, and then down. No stem needed, okay? That's the nice thing about the e-collar, is that it allows me the ability to start teaching the dog that there's this physical level of accountability that happens right around him, where I can literally just grab the leash and give him a leash pop. The second level is spatial. That means that as I get further away from him, he's able to get up. But then as I step back toward him again, it puts him back into that position, okay? So I would basically say no, and I would walk back towards him. He would go back into the down, okay? The nice thing about the e-collar is that I can start putting on some stem pressure on him as soon as I say that no. Whereas with the leash, I have to say no and then put my hand on the leash, okay? So it allows me instantaneous access to be able to start that pressure back again, okay? So as I give him more distance, duration, distraction, I can drop this, 30-foot leash or whatever, and I can go 50, 100, 150 feet, 150 yards. We can start getting some really great distance. So by the end of an off-leash board and train, especially for a behavioral dog, my goal is to be able to go put the dog at the very end of this aisle here in the grass, and to recall him to the very center of the cemetery back there by the office, okay? That section right there is about 3 football fields long, okay? So that's 300 yards, that's 900 feet, okay? So that's about a fifth of a mile or something around there, about 20% of a mile. It's pretty good stuff. So he's killing it. He immediately understood it. He immediately knew what I was asking him to do, okay? All right, I'm gonna give him a little no, and I'm holding that stem until he goes right back into that down, okay? You can tell he's not stressed, he's not anxious, and look where I'm at on the collar, okay? Now, this is what's nice, is that as I teach him that I'm gonna be very fair with this stem, then I'm able to sensitize him to the collar in a way that a lot of trainers don't. They go too high, too fast, and it ends up stressing out the dog. So you saw that very first time that he kind of dipped his head down as we were stemming, I immediately went down pretty significantly to a 1, from a 3 to a 1, okay? Now, a lot of people would say, well, how do you know that he's feeling it? So I'm gonna prove to you, as he looks away here in just a second, that he is feeling it. Watch his mouth right there. Did you see that? I'm gonna tap again right here. And he went from open mouth to closed mouth. Yeah, good job, buddy. Break. Good job. That was a vibrate. Good job, buddy. You could have gone anywhere you wanted to, and you chose to come to me. All right, so another really good thing is there's a distraction here, because there's people that walk just on the other side of that little hill right there, and it's just far enough removed by the creek that dogs can go. It's kind of like a safety berm where I can just let them drag the leash there. Good job. All right, we're gonna start working some distance here. That works, that's totally fine. I did not ask him for that, just so you know. So another thing that will start to happen really naturally is that I'll actually get this kind of natural body language that will start to show up as a result of kind of how I hold my body. So I literally turned back to him and he just laid down, and I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to tell him a command. So what ends up happening with a lot of these dogs is I can teach the owner how to use their body language so that they don't have to say a command at all sometimes, especially not like 15 or 20 times. I've seen owners give dogs commands for 5 minutes at a time, just constant. I'm like, so what exactly are you doing? Like, you're communicating nothing, essentially. Okay, Theo here. I'm vibrating because he didn't immediately get up. Theo here. Yes, good boy. And as soon as I say yes, I've already released that stem, okay? And again, that was on vibrate, so he didn't come straight to me. So I'm stepping on the leash here. No, come here. Good. Yeah, shake it off. That was psychosomatic. You weren't feeling nothing there. Good job. Good boy. Good boy. Notice I'm gonna ignore that little whine that he did. I'm gonna let him have some space from me. Notice I tried to pick him up, he whined, and I said nothing about it. I didn't try to punish him for it. I didn't say, it's okay, it's okay. We just let it happen, you know? Gotta have things happen and then just move on from it. All right, you ready to walk around a little bit? Yeah, you're so good. I love you. Good boy. So we gotta desensitize him right there. Good boy. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Let's go explore, dude. There are all kinds of animals in this little section right here. This is where they pull all the grass for the grave tops after they get the dirt on it. So I try not to let the dogs shit all over it. Yeah, that would be kind of rude. Good job. You're killing it, bud. And I want him to notice some of these animals here. I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing, but I see a groundhog, I see a squirrel, I see a bird. Good job, buddy. Good job. So notice that there's a little berm right here. And then the nice thing is, if he decides that he wants to go too far away from me and blow me off, then this goes up, you know? Can always switch from the electric to the electric if I need to. I'm gonna give him a little distance here. What's up, dude? Are you happy? Are you so happy? Come here. Hi. Yeah. It's a good boy. Hi, Sugar Booger. Hi, Sugar Booger. Go. Come on. Good job. Such a beautiful day. It's a good mule day Saturday. I'm doing mule day this weekend. He is doing a really good job. And when we get back to the house, what I'm going to be doing is using the e-collar to navigate through this whole lunge thing that he likes to do. Now, I make it a point not to walk the dogs through the aisles here so that the leash doesn't mess up the flowers. You go poop. Okay, I'm going to let him get away from me a little bit. I'm just gonna let him sniff for a little bit. This is what he needs to learn how to do, is to be like, oh shit, I have freedom. And the leash is behind me, like pretty far. Good job. I figured you needed to go poop again. So just for reference, that's where I'll put him in a downstay at the end of that row of trees. And that's where I'll recall him from, way down there. By the time that he's finished, he's not ready for it yet. So the way that I do that is I go one tree at a time and we start to build that distance. So he's gonna travel a lot of miles, maybe a mile, just doing that one exercise. job. You ready? All right. You're killing it, buddy. All right, that is the end of the session, okay? So I want you guys to know that these sessions, I try to keep them, this video right now is at 15 minutes. That's a pretty long session, actually. That's about 3 times longer than what I usually do. But it was the first one, and I wanted to take it really slow, and I wanted to kind of space things out. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna give him an easy tap, tap. Yep, yeah, you felt that, huh? Good job, buddy. Good job, buddy. My man. And then on the way back, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back up to a 3, and I'm only gonna stem if he blows me off after the first command, okay? So I'm gonna give him easy, tap, 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 tap. Theo, easy. Good job. Slowing him down a little bit. So notice that this is being used as pressure, not a shock, not as a correction yet. Well, now I am using it as a correction, but it's not super aversive, okay? There are things that call for aversive corrections. Don't get in that puddle, please. Come here. So I'm vibrating there, good job. And I vibrate until he's in the position that I want him to, and then I release it. So as soon as he got into this little rift right here, no. Awesome. Good boy. Yeah, there's a lot of little mud puddles, a lot of birds. Some things to be distracted by. Notice he's learning to navigate what he's allowed to approach and what he's not. Break. Go run. Go run. Good boy. So by dilution, we pass, 15 water puddles, and he goes, oh, I haven't been allowed to go to any of these water puddles. So I guess they're not important. I guess they're not relevant. I guess they're not a safe source of water. Okay, easy. I'm using my foot here because we're getting closer up to the road, and I want all of his attention. And then as I start to get closer to the road here, I'm also going to go, I'm going to keep that corrective level at a 3. And if he blows me off, I'm not going to go 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go 6, 12, 24. Okay? So I'm going to give him a little space here. Right. Yes, good boy. And I'm going to move back a little bit. Heel. Good job. Right back here. Come on. Vibrating. Yes, come here. Good job. There's a good man right there. Good job, buddy. Good boy. All right, let's go. And now he's in heel, and I want him to stay right here with me. Easy. Back here. Just so you know, it goes up, okay? So you notice that was a more significant reaction, and that's because that was on a 6, okay? Or a 7. Come on. Yes. Come on. Yes, good boy. Good job, buddy. Good man. Now I'm going to use my feet to actually manage the leash a little bit so that he can see. I want to fade this out. I don't want to always have to hold the leash all the time. We're just going to let that leash drag right up here around the corner, being mindful of the roads, vehicles, and distractions. There's a big old gopher hole right there. I know it because I saw him crawl in there earlier. Good job, Theo. Good boy. I'm also really careful to not correct really big close to the road when I don't have my foot or hand on the leash. Easy. Good. Now notice he listened to that the very first time, okay? I didn't need to stem because he's paying attention. Because the last time that I had to say easy, he also got twice the stem. Good. So just to paint a picture of where we're at right here. Job. Good boy. Easy. No stem. And he automatically slowed down there. Good job, buddy. You're killing it. Nothing crazy. It's actually fairly boring. It's not super complicated either. I want to make sure that I'm being really straightforward with my communication and that I'm using the same communication system that I have the whole entire time. Because ideally, I want to show the dog how to turn it off. I want to show the dog that he's going to want to avoid it. So he's forging, easy. Yep, that was a 7, easy. I'm going to go down now to a 4, okay? I want to show him that this does go up and down. I'm willing to go both directions. No, that was a 4. Come here. Good job. Notice how I'm using my space as well. Easy. That was a 4. Come on. Good boy. He's like, oh, bummer. You little sensitive boy. Okay, I'm gonna back up. Yes, good boy. Come on. Yes. Come on. Good. Are you tired already? Heel. Good job, buddy. Better. Okay. Now I'm on a 3. Right back where I started. So the goal is to be able to obviously fade out all my stimulation, all my commands, all my leash pressure, all my cues, all my signals, everything, to where he's just glued to me. Not glued to me, but he knows the system. Break. Good job, buddy. We're done. We're all done. What do you think about that, huh? You feeling better? Yeah. What do you think about that, huh? Yeah. Love you. You're very sensitive. Yeah, that's one of the lowest baselines I've ever had. It actually doesn't go any lower. Yeah. So you notice that his working level is about a 1.5, which means that that's with like almost no distractions. There's a handsome dog there. He's just going, okay, I see the dog. I don't really put any relevance on the dog. Hey, how's it going? Good job. And then he realizes, oh shit, Uncle Matt is 40 feet away from me. What is that guy doing? There you go, nice job. I'm not doing anything. I'm literally, nothing is happening right now, okay? This is why I tell people constantly, if you get out of a dog's way, the reactivity goes away all on its own. And I'm not giving any control here. So, I don't know, I've just seen too much. I've seen too many dogs really, really benefit from this training to say that it's, aversive or whatever. Like I understand, or that it's long-term detrimental to the dog. It's just too good, and it does too many things that I really want the dog to understand. So one of those things is the dog understands that at a great distance I can still reach out and touch them. Okay, so you notice he saw the dog over there, he looked at him, and he says, how can I put myself in an emotionally stable position to where I'm not tempted to go basically lunge after that dog? So he put himself in a down without any coaching from me, which is a huge freaking deal. And he's still there. And I don't need to mark and reward that, because what's happening is he's choosing to actually have his own level of arousal, which is a low level of arousal. And the last thing that I want to do is interrupt that with a payment, okay? I want him to find that this stuff is self-reinforcing, okay? That's a lot of times there's a scientific reason behind certain things that people will do every single time. They'll give the marker, they'll give the reward. I have reward markers, or excuse me, I have non-reward markers that mean I'm not gonna come to you for payment, okay? Nice is one of them. Good job, good boy. Like good is different from good job, good boy. So there are times where the dog knows that I'm just going to stay away. I'm going to give him space. I'm just going to move around a little bit and he can just kind of enjoy himself here. Notice too that here we're in very close quarters, whereas at the cemetery we have a lot of space. So this gives him the ability to practice a pretty high level of freedom in close quarters, because he's been 50 feet away from me. He's been 75 feet away from me. Look at that good guy. He's not that dog that wants to run away. He's just not. He wants to stay with you. He wants to experience nature. Come here. Yeah. That was nothing. The Ecollar remote is in my pocket. I'm literally not doing anything here. That's not my truck. Let's go. So notice I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna leave him behind. It's the best way to handle this kind of a dog. Are you hungry? You still have food in your crate. So we're gonna work this now. Just wrapping up the session here. We're gonna work this now with the crate. Hi, buddy. You're so handsome. And what I might do is set up my little pecan tripod or bean can tripod. Oh, good job, buddy. Let's get all this leash inside here. You wanna be naked? We'll actually do it first with the leash on. I noticed that it is 8 o'clock, 8:08 right now. This is the very first thing that we did in the whole day. All right, I'm gonna set this up here. Here we go. All right, good job. What are you doing? What are you doing? All right, so I'm gonna start moving toward his crate and grab his food. Good job. It still has a bunch of stuff in there. So I'm gonna get his water filled. Want some water? Yeah, you missed out on this one, buddy. You missed out. Sorry. Okay, let's get this rinsed out and we'll get you some water. Okay, so I've got about probably 2 cups of water here. I want to get my Ecollar remote ready. I don't really know where it is. Oh, there it is. All right, great. Good job, buddy. And my goal is also, good job, bud. There you go. Very good, buddy. Good job. To actually unlatch this leash while he's drinking. Good job. And notice 0 conflict here, okay? He's not fixated on my behavior at the door at all. Literally nothing is going on, okay? I didn't do anything with this to get him to do that, okay? It's what I did out there that says, hey, just so you know, I can reach out and touch you from anywhere, okay? It's a psychological thing. The dog starts to realize, oh, like say for example that I have road rage or something like that. And they assign one state trooper to Matt Burnett to basically say, hey, just so you know, if you decide to speed, there's a shock that will be issued to your butt or something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of 1,000 different examples. There's a consequence that will immediately happen, or there's a tracker on you that starts to track where you are and how fast you're going. Obviously, I'm going to pay a lot closer attention. So there is something about being supervised that is very, very valuable, okay? I don't want to put in an empty rep, so I'm going to come back to him to get his bowl out of his crate. Good job. So I'm going to go ahead and issue stem here. I'm going to hold that 3 until he lays down. And then as soon as those feet, good job, buddy. As soon as those feet are down, no. Watch that light right there on his collar. Down. Good job, buddy. He just needs to know it's not his business. Good job. No. Great. I'm vibrating. I'm vibrating still. Great. Good. And I'm gonna reach in there. Good job, buddy. While his bowl is in there. Good job. Excellent work. Okay, free. Free. Come on. Good job. Excellent work. There you go. Excellent. And notice how he auto-downed as soon as he got in there. That's perfect. Okay? So as I go to close this here and open this, I just need to desensitize a little bit. Okay? Now, I'm going to not do anything this time. The remote is down. I'm not doing anything. Good job, buddy. Good boy. Okay? And if he decided he wanted to do something at this point, I would pop the smack out of him. We're friends, dude. You don't bite your friends. Good job. Good job. I love you. Good job, buddy. And we're going to leave that. No. We're going to leave that collar on. Down. Still on. And release. Good job. So I'm basically showing him I have every bit of control here. Okay? There's not a place where I can't reach you. All right. That's pretty much it for this morning's session. That was a pretty long video. I usually do my sessions in about 5 to 15 minute increments, but we covered a lot there. I think this is probably the best session that we've had yet because you get to see him being free. You get to see him with some distractions. You get to see him working through some triggers that he has. There is some kind, I don't know why, but there's some kind of super sensitivity to flying into the crate. I could be wrong, but it seems like it was taught with a shock collar. It seems like it was taught with bad e-collar training, or either that or super reflexive movements where he's just like flying in there, flying out. I could be wrong, but anyway, he's doing good for right now, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show him, because the e-collar remote is all the way over there, and I'm going to show him that I don't really care about the biting stuff. I'm going to show him that I don't have the remote. Good job. Nope. Lay down. Good job, buddy. And as I open this, if he tries to shoot out, I'll use my foot. Good job. And I'm literally just using the exact same communication system as I would if he was on place. Good job. And I'm paying for eye contact. You're so good. Good job. I'm going to close it. I'm going to step away. Good boy. He's so happy. He said, I just want to see your eyes. No. Notice that he goes right back into the down. I didn't have to tell him to down, okay? So there's not this reflexive movement, and he knows that now I'm reaching into his crate to pay him. I'm literally just using the same communication system that we did in the yo-yo game and for place to tell him everything's good, buddy. You're good, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and take off the e-collar here. Good job, bub. Good man. Good boy. There we go. So that way he can see it. What is that, bud? What is that thing, huh? Good job, my guy. And he goes, thank you, Uncle Matt. Good job, buddy. All right, and as I go to close this, I'm going to ask him for a down. Good boy. I'm going to move away. I'm going to do the same exact thing. So if I don't fade this out, then I'm reliant on it. I'm a slave. No. Now I'm intentionally turning on a little bit of conflict, just a tiny bit, just to put him back into that down, okay? He doesn't have to stay there forever. I just want him to understand that the crate is literally just like the place bed. The only difference for me is that I can open that latch safely now. It's basically like there's a physical representation of where you have to be now. So what's really common with herding breed dogs is going in and out of doors and gates and having a barrier present there is a way to inherently create this opposition reflex where he's being held back and he knows it. So he wants to shoot out of the crate or sometimes shoot into the crate. So it seems like the training that he did before kind of reversed. It's like reverse barrier aggression where he's flying in there to guard the crate or flying in there and preparing for battle essentially. And I'm just showing him lots and lots of reps of, hey buddy, there is no battle. I'm not scared of you. I know that that's not who you actually are. So I'm going to turn off pressure here. I'm going to go ahead and get me some coffee and open my windows so that he can see all the things that are happening outside today. And I'm going to go get my dogs fed and leave this guy alone for a little bit to rest, because that was a big session, buddy. Anyway, super proud of him. Sorry this video is so long, but it was a really, really good morning session. And we got to do e-collar conditioning. We got to do drag leash walking. We got to do sit down, implied stay at a distance. We added some pretty good distance today. Releasing him to things that he enjoys, like going out and running around in the grass. Obviously, he's still restricted. He feels restricted there. So we want him to feel more comfortable with that. So I'm going to give him I'm going to have a couple of spaces that he's going to really want to go splash around, especially Jerry Irwin, because he really dove head first into that little creek there. And he needed that. You could tell it was like he got his little baptism, like he was like, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life. So we're probably going to go back there, but he's really, really doing such a good job. And I do my best to show absolutely everything so that you can go, okay, he's really not scared of this dog, It's in the beginning, I have to kind of act as if, but as I go in my heart and my head, I know more and more this dog is bulletproof. If I don't think 100% that the dog is bulletproof, I'm not going to tell the client that. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, I'm not here to create fake results and give you a false sense of security and false positives and think that everything is fixed. I want people to see the entire process, first of all, and I want them to know that I'm proofing for absolutely everything, okay? Especially when there's no tools involved. So after I'm done with my training session, you can see this needs to be charged. I'm going to take my 2 red dots, I'm going to line it up to turn off my receiver, and I'm going to plug this bad boy in, all right? I will talk to you guys soon, and I'll send this video over to you shortly. I hope you're having a great weekend. It's going to be an awesome mule day, and we're probably going to have some really cool videos from the event. So anyway, talk soon.